Hi, it's Linda from Linda's Paperworks. I thought we'd revisit the gratitude journal again today, but one particular thing. Last week when I was working on it, I made this tag to go in this back pocket, and it's brown paper that I ran through my embossing machine using this folder, which makes these flowers, which we think are mums, chrysanthemums. And I mentioned that if you didn't have an embossing machine or an embossing folder, there are other ways that you can achieve a similar effect to this. So today I thought that we would do a few of those, and maybe you can tell me in the comments which ones you think are most successful. I don't know that all of them are going to be successful, but we're going to find out. So let's get started. I'm going to set this aside. What I did on this is I embossed the brown paper and then I glued it to a piece of index card. I used this stencil to make this design on the back of this tag after I had finished everything else on that. That was last week. I don't think I showed that on the video. But what I did is I used my finger and put some gold ink over it and made the button gold. And I extended this tag to make it taller. And I mentioned that you don't have to have dies to cut your tags. You can just cut them from paper. So I thought today that's what we'll do. We'll try to replicate something that looks similar to this, but not use an embossing folder or dies to cut the tag and make it that size. We'll just put that right over there. I've gone ahead and made some, we'll call them blanks for it. What I did is I glued a piece of, this is just copy paper that I glued to a piece of regular old brown paper bag. And I wanted to mention that brown paper bags come in different weights. There's very thin ones, like this is pretty thin. I think I had another one that was even thinner. This is even thinner. This was a bag that came from our pharmacy. These are just various brown paper bags that I had kept. What I did is I glued the brown paper bag to the copy paper. And I just turned a little bit of the brown paper over to this side just to give it a little extra interest. I thought first we would do stenciling. And what I had used to try this out is this stencil. It's 4 stencils in a package that I got at Walmart, just in their little crafting area that they have at our store. I don't know if these are still available or not anymore. They've changed things out a lot, so they may not be available now. But you can find stencils in various places at your hobby stores, like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or online, and just choose whatever you like. And even check the Dollar Tree. They have gotten some stencils now that they're thin. They're not as sturdy as this, but they have nice designs on them, and you might find something there that you really liked. So anyway, what I'm going to use on this is a makeup brush. Came in this package. Contour brush is what it's called. This one, it has a small head. I have another one that has a larger head, but I kind of like this one for the smaller designs. And I'm just going to use the old favorite Vintage Photo and just ink this rose design right here onto this paper. I need a piece of paper to go behind this so I don't get ink all over my mat. This is just something that came in a magazine promotion. Let's see if we can do this. I kind of like the idea of it going off the edge in places, so that's where I'm going to start. I may regret that. I may wish I'd started in the middle, but we'll see. And I just go around kind of circular motion to stamp it on there, or to stencil it on there, actually. And put a little more right there. That looks fair. And I'm going to put this one, just the whole thing right there. Like that. It takes a little while to do this, but you know, it's kind of calming to do this. You just go in circles till you get it dark enough to suit you. And if you wanted to, you could also use another, I have ground espresso to add dimension to it. You could just put a little bit of it. See if I can do this one-handed. Maybe just put a little bit of it right in the middle or something. I don't know how that's gonna look. It may look terrible, but we'll see. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's not bad. And let's see. put this one like here. Now this isn't going to be exactly like what this looks like, obviously, because this is three-dimensional. But it's the same general look in a way. So I'm going to turn that over and make the rose go this way this time. If you don't have an embossing folder, it's like you can still make a pretty tag without doing the embossing. But if you want to save up your money and get an embossing machine and folders, then I don't discourage that. I've had a lot of fun with mine. The only thing is it can be kind of addictive. Okay, and then I'm going to put this last one just down here, I think. Just go around it. And I'm going to just add a little bit of this dark on there, like that. Okay, I think this top needs a little more. I wonder if I can stick another one in here. Or maybe, I'm going to see if I can match that up. I don't think I can. I think it's gonna fight me because the paper's curling. I'm having trouble getting it laid on there where it was before. It seems like I didn't get a real good impression there. I think that is pretty good. So I'm just going to use some of this dark ink and just darken this up right along this edge here, because it just looked kind of too pale, and that's kind of a little bit off of where it was, so it looks a little strange. I don't know if this was successful or not, so we'll see. I'm just going to put leaves right there, a leaf. Okay, that didn't look too bad. The thing I want to do now is to turn this into a tag, and I could just lay this on here and cut what is there, which I may do that as a guide, or you can just, look at it, decide where you want to cut it. And then I'm going to take this piece and turn it around and put it here to cut the other one. If you cut this one just looking at it, eyeballing it, whatever, you can use the piece to cut the other one, and they will be similar. It always looks like this is bigger than that one to me, and I don't know why, but it does. Anyway, and I like to nip just these little corners off and punch a hole in the top. Center it as best I can. That. That's pretty good. And I'll come back later and put some lace and some, decorate that. That's stenciling. And you can use whatever, it doesn't have to be a floral design. You can use whatever stencil you have. This set has lots of different options. You can, I think these are nasturtiums there, and maybe that's a hibiscus or something, and leaves and little flowers, or all leaves, and that's a feather. You could do feathers on it, or this is just a design of spots. You could put that on it, or stripes. So you have lots of options. That's just out of that one package. This package is one from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square. Has butterflies, which I think these are cute butterflies and would be pretty on there too. Whatever stencil you have, you can use it however you'd like to. Okay, that is that one. We'll set it aside. And next we will do stamping. I did this stamping before, and I was having difficulty getting the center of those flowers to ink. I don't know why it wasn't stamping on there well, but it wasn't. But it's this stamp out of this, it's called Tonic Studios, and I got these at Tuesday Morning a while back, and It was $3.99, and then I think that was maybe 20% off or something like that. I don't know if Tuesday Morning is still having as many craft supplies as it did. It seemed like the last couple of times I've been in there, it was pretty sketchy. There wasn't that much to choose from. But anyway, this is that stamp, and I have it on my stamping block. I have probably enough stamped already to put this on a back. This is coffee dyed copy paper, and I made it 2.5 inches wide and 5.5 inches long. That's just the size that I thought fit nicely in the pocket. That's why I did it that size. You can make them any size you want to make them. It doesn't matter. So, see if I have enough that look pretty good to put on here. Otherwise, we could stamp some more. We'll just do that. We'll just stamp some more. I'm going to put it up at this end. Now, this paper looks kind of wrinkled up, but when you glue it down, you can smooth it out so that it doesn't have hardly any wrinkles left in it. Yeah, I need my paper back here. Not my paper back, but I need my paper back. Okay. I'm just going to... This ink is from Joann. It's from a long time ago. It's called Ranger Dye Ink Pad. And it is a permanent, I think that's what it says, a permanent dye. It doesn't say. Acid-free, non-toxic, adult use only. Okay, anyway, I'm going to ink this up. And actually, to save time, I'm just going to extend from here and just see what we get. And then this is Studio G, and it's that gold, it's pigment ink, and it's also permanent. But I added just a little bit of that to this because I thought it made it have a nice shimmer to it. It doesn't really, it's not really gold, I don't think, but it gives it a nice gleam. Let's see if I have any better luck here. That did slightly better. Put this pad under here, maybe that will make it stamp better. I don't know if the brown paper has some kind of waxy surface on it or something that is resisting the ink. It may. I don't know. And I also tried the Distress Oxide, and I didn't have any better luck with it. So we'll see. See how it goes. And I just like to put them together where they kind of fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. Oh, see, that didn't do very well there in the middle. I just don't know. Anyway, maybe it's the brown paper. Let's try this one again, just to see. I don't know if you're supposed to mix these together or not, but I did. I don't guess there's stamping police that are going to come after me, but they might. I don't know. They might say, you're doing it wrong. Whoops. I need to pull this back without moving it. I don't want a double image, which makes you think you need to see the eye doctor. That did slightly better there. Not a lot. I'm just going to go with this. It seems to be doing fair. It may have so much ink on the stamp now that it's doing better. Maybe that's what is making it do better. I don't know. Put that right there. That one did better. So, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. You know, you look at it and you just see the flowers and you don't start examining, oh, that doesn't have ink in the middle or anything like that. So, turn this one and put it there. Sort of there, but sort of not. I don't know. And I'm going to put one more right here, and then we're going to cut it up and put it on the... Actually, we're going to glue first. Let's put this away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this coffee dyed, or it may be tea dyed. I cannot remember. It's been a while since I did this. It doesn't matter. It's just a light dyeing of the paper with coffee or tea. Just make a cup of tea and dye your paper. And I'm going to put it to this side, I think, is where I'm going to put it. I'm going to have to turn this over, so I just kind of need to think about where I'm going to glue this down and how it's going to look. So I think it's going to be from there to there, and I think that'll be fine. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper to glue on. My Old Faithful. One of these days I'm going to have to get rid of it. You could, it doesn't matter which side of the paper you use. You just decide what you think looks the nicest and go with it. So, I'm just using my Craft Bond Extra Strength Glue Stick on this. Not Craft Bond. It's Elmer's Craft Bond. Elmer's is the brand. I like to get a good bit of glue on there because I want it to stay stuck. And what I'm going to do is take this off of this paper because I have glue around there. I don't want that sticking to it. And just put it down here. Actually, I'm going to turn this over and put my finger right there where it starts. Like that. And then I'm just going to glue it down along that edge. I'm going to leave a little bit so I can just trim it off. And then I'm going to take my credit card, expired credit card, and just press it down. It's been raining today, so there's a lot of humidity in the air, and it seems like it's taking the glue a little while to dry. They still feel kind of wet, so I'm going to put this one aside for just a minute and let it dry some before I cut it out and do the rest of it so that we can see it. But we'll come back to that. Okay, another idea is to crumple up the paper and put glue and some ink over it, and that's what I did to this. And I haven't gone all the way on it, so I thought I'd just finish off down here and just let you see how I did it. If I still have some gold paint here that's not dried out too badly. I just like to kind of moosh it around a little bit on my finger and then dab it off so that it's not a whole lot on there. Because you don't want a big blob. You just want it to hit the high spots. And so I just go over it like that. And it doesn't matter. If you have a little more gold in some places than others, that's fine too. Let's see if that's long enough to go on my paper. I believe it is. The other thing I did was I took my ink pad and just went over it a little bit with the brown ink to just give it a little bit more definition, I guess you'd call it. So I need to let that gold get a little bit dry before I do that. So I'll use the time to wipe my finger. Hopefully this is a little bit dry now. I think what I used before was just this one. Maybe I'll add some up here again. I just think it gives it, it's like it's three-dimensional when you have a little bit of that brown on there with the gold. And I guess you could do it either way, where you put the brown on first and then put the gold on. I just happen to put the gold on first. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I want to keep those crinkles and crumples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this. And I kind of like that side better. It's a little darker. It doesn't matter. And just go over with my glue stick again. I like to get a lot of glue on because I don't want it popping up. And if you're concerned that it's not going to be stuck really well, you can also add like Fabri-Tac or some other liquid glue to just glue it down a little bit better. And I might do a little bit of that, maybe around the edges to be sure it doesn't pop up. This is Fabri-Tac. Okay, I'm just going to go around this. And I may just put some all over it just to grab onto those crinkled places on the brown paper. I haven't done this one before. Some of them I tested out a little bit before I started the video, but this one I didn't do that. So we're just going to see how this works together. And get my finger out of the glue here. That's kind of a straight edge. I may kind of try to line that up, or the top is kind of straight, or I may just plunk it down right in the middle and just press it down gently, because I do want those wrinkles from the embossing, not the embossing, from wadding it up. I want them to stay there. And this may turn out that the back is a little bit lumpy, maybe harder to write on than if it were a smooth paper on there. But I just want the edge to be stuck down like that. And we'll see how that turns out. Okay. I'm going to set this one aside also and let it dry some before we cut it up or turn it into a tag. Okay, we'll come back to this and trim it out. I think it's glued down pretty good. That is just a little bit wrinkled right there. It's just character. Okay, I'm going to just trim across here. I feel like this is the top. And I turned this one, I turned the top over so it's on the other side. But you can also turn up the bottom, and I might do that. I might turn up quite a bit on the bottom just to, like to there, and just see how that looks on this side. See how much that's going to be. I may go a little further than that. I may go to here. Like that. I don't know how straight that was. Okay. It's kind of dark today. I hope that it does show up in the video too much, that it's so dark you can't see what I'm doing. It could happen. See, I almost goofed. Get to talking and I almost goofed. And I think I'm going to glue that up before I trim this off. And let's see if I do want it that far up. Another option would be to make that into a little pocket, but I think I'm not going to do that. That's getting like too much stuff on here. I think what I will do, though, is tear this edge and just have it rough. Like that. All right. Put plenty of glue on here, as usual. And I'm just going to turn it like that and then press this down with my card. Like that. Now that has a little bit of white right there. So what I'll do there is just ink the edges. Ink that edge. I don't know that I'm going to ink all the edges around there. And I need to trim this off some. This is going to be a guessing game down here. Maybe I'll go kind of see it through the light, maybe. Our train is back today. I'm going to take this and just press this down again. And I'm going to do it on this side too. This one is showing a little bit that it was a paper bag. You can also just buy a roll of craft paper at, once again, I do not work for Dollar Tree, but they have a lot of good crafting supplies. And I was in there just the other day, and I noticed that they had rolls of craft paper. So if you don't have a lot of paper bags coming into your house anymore, you might try checking there to see if you want to spend $1 or so on a, I guess it's $1.25 now on a roll of paper. Now, I think that looks kind of cute, even if it does have these wrinkles on here. And, you know, you could always ink them if you felt like it. Do I want to do that, or do I want to just ignore it? No, we'll just ignore it for now. Just going to put a little ink on this, around the edge on that, and on the edge on this, I think. And I'm going to trim the corners on it. That is stamping. Okay, I'm putting him over here. Let's see if this is dry-ish. Maybe that's dry enough to trim it out. I'm anxious to see how this one's going to look without the edges all over. Now, I could have turned that edge up. That might have been cute to put that up there. I could put this one over, turn that to the side, or this one even. Although that would fill up a lot of it, so I may not do that. I think that's too much. I think on this one, I'm just going to trim them off. This one, I think it would be a good idea to take it to the sewing machine and stitch around that because, and I think I will do that. And I'll show that at the end. My machine is shy. It doesn't like to be on camera. Actually, it's crammed in the corner over here and I can't get the camera to it. But it still works. So anyway, cut this off. It's a little hard to cut straight for me on these, especially this with it being crinkled. Okay, the last side here. And I'm cutting into the paper on that one. This one may be a little bit wonky, but how can I tell with all those wrinkles? I'm saving this. This could be useful with all my other stuff there. Which side do I think I like best for the top? I think I'm going to put it this way, put the hole up there because there's more design down here at the bottom. You could also add something else to this at the bottom. Maybe a sticker, or what could you put on there? I just thought of that, so obviously I have not thought of what could be put down there. I'm going to punch the hole. We'll come back and see what decorations we put on this. See if I got it even halfway in the middle. Not too bad. Okay, that one is that. We have done stenciling, stamping, and crumpled brown paper. So the next one I want to do is glue lace over the brown paper. And I have several options pulled out. This is kind of a modern looking lace, kind of a beehive design there with flowers on it that I've used before. That would work. This one is wide lace that looks like it should go on the bottom of a skirt or something like that. It could go on the edge like that, or you could, I don't know, put that on the edge and have it go like that. I think that looks pretty. And maybe even turn that to the back. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off right here and glue it down. I think the way I was going to show you the other option. I like this. I'm going to use that one for sure. And then this is another lace that has a rose design on it there. and kind of a scallop at the edge. It's kind of too big for that. You could just choose what you wanted to be on there, whether you wanted this bottom part to be there or this rose, maybe just off a little bit on that. I'm going to glue this to this paper. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this, and since it's so holy, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over all of these where the strips are on it, and I'm going to put that right at the top. And I'm starting to get glue coming out, so I better get going. Okay, this may take a while. This I'm going to speed up, and so you don't have to watch while I glue all these little pieces here. So I will be back when it's gluey. Okay, I think I've got it. And I probably have glue on my mat because I didn't put the paper under it. That is the way it goes sometimes. I want that at the top, like that. And that there. Okay, I'm gonna get this is a dry baby wipe, and I'm just gonna press it down with that. Like I've said, this seems to have lotion or something in it, and it doesn't stick to your, like if you were using a Kleenex to do this, it'd probably be sticking all to it and making a mess. But this doesn't seem to do that. And I need to wipe that glue off of there. Now, I can turn this to the back and have that on the edge, which I think that would be pretty. I could turn this up, and it's already got glue on it, so I need to be careful if I don't want it there. It just kind of stops, though, is the only thing. Although, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could cut this at the corner and then just cut where just that tape part is there. Just go around it like that. We'll see how that looks. If it looks stupid, then it will just have to look stupid. Okay. Get rid of that. And even though that had glue on it, I need to put more glue on it because now it's kind of dried. So we'll just put a little bit here. Like that. All right. And turn that up on the bottom. Like that. Like that. And I want to glue this down also. So I'll just go along there with the glue. Okay, it's more or less there. Okay, and I'm going to use this again to keep it off my fingers. That might have been prettier if it had been under that piece. I wonder if I can do that or if it's too late. Not too late, not too late. Yay. Yeah, I think that looks better. So there is lace on the brown paper. I think that looks pretty. I like that. And if you wanted it to have more of a brown look to it, you could ink it, I suppose. I'm not going to. I like the way it looks right now, so I'm going to leave it like that. You could ink this edge. That might be pretty. I'm just going to put a little bit of ink along here. Okay, that's all. That's all I'm going to do to that one. Now, I'm going to let this dry for just a minute and go back to this one with the stamping on it. And I probably should have glued that down better right there, but it's too late now. I'm going to cut the corners here about like that. And what you do is you take it, how you cut it off here, and you turn it over and put the corner mirror image is what it turns out to be in this corner. And then you have a straight line to be your guide to cut them. And theoretically, they turn out similar. I don't know if they do or not. And then I'm going to clip the corners down here just a little bit, like that. And I'm going to punch a hole in the top. Like that. Those two. And this one, I'm going to clip these corners also. Although I'm not going to clip these very much just because I don't want to make it where it might be peeling up. But I'm going to stitch around this too, so we'll see how that does. Okay. I think this one needs to be inked around the edge. But let me think about that for a second because I'm going to stitch it. Do I want stitching and inking? I think I do. I think I'm going to do both. And I hope that this is going to work with my machine to do that because I haven't tried that before. I hope it doesn't flatten out my wrinkles because I want my wrinkles. Those wrinkles. And I think I'll do the same around the back since it got a little bit of ink on it when I was doing the front. And that one doesn't have anything on the back. I have to think about that too. That one has nothing on the back. This one has the folded up part. And I'm going to ink that as well. I may decide to stitch around all of them. I don't know. I didn't on this. So if I'm matching this, then, well, this has the faux stitching that came from the die around it. So the stitching on the machine is similar to that, so that makes sense. Another thing you could do is use a pen like one of these. This is a La Plume too. And just to put stitching, sorry about that. I'll use this one. And I think I'll do it on this one. And I hope I don't mess it up too much. I like to use this has 2 points to it. It has a brush-like point, and then it has a fine tip point. And so I'm going to use this one to go around it. And what you do, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. You can just do little dashes. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect. It helps to hold the paper down so it doesn't pop up and mess you up. But other than that, just go around the edge like that. My little dashes are not too good. It doesn't matter though. It's just a little, you're not going to be examining each little dash. You're going to just look at the whole picture and see how it looks. I think I got longer as I went, so that's okay. It's a junk journal. And I'm not going to put all these in my book, in my gratitude book, because there's too many of them. But I just wanted to show you that there are options other ways to get a look, this look, if you want that look, by just thinking about how you can make it look similar to that. So that's one option. That's another option. They're a little bit different, but still pretty, I think. And I'm gonna put some stuff in the toppers and stitch these, and I'll show you the pictures at the end. And here's my lace one. I forgot about it. So we have 4 different ways to have a similar look. So I'm going to trim these little corners off just a tiny bit. Like that. Oops, that was a little more there. Like that. And I'm just going to trim this one where it goes by that, that corner of the lace. I don't want to cut into that. And put this over here. Like that. Now I'm going to cut into it there, but it's just the way it's going to be. I'm either going to punch a hole in this or I'm going to staple something over it. And I think right now I'm going to go ahead and try the punch. And I may staple something over it too if it doesn't work. Or just, anyway, it doesn't work. So I will be stapling something over that. Too many thicknesses and it doesn't like punching through the lace. So I'm going to take my bone folder and just press this back in there. Smooth it down a little bit. And I will take a piece of lace. This piece of lace will be fine. It's kind of a ivory color, so it's going to look a little different on the tag than different from this color, but it will be okay, I think. I'm just going to cut like that. I need to cut some of that off. I'll put some of this cotton yarn with it. It's kind of my go-to anymore, it seems like. And I'm just going to fold it in half a couple of times. And it's a little bit longer than I want it. And bunch this all up together. Okay, I want that bunched up, and I hope I can do this. So, and I'm going to put it behind, I think, because I do want to cover up that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to put it behind. You never know what you're going to get till you get it stapled. Or at least I don't. And I just hope that it's all caught in the staple. Just going to try to bunch it together there. And push it down a little bit. Okay, well, it's a little wild and crazy, but we'll just go with it. It's not bad. One other thing I wanted to mention that I tried, and I don't know that it was successful at all, so I didn't include it in the 4 ideas. I have this stamp, and I took some brown paper pieces, and I sprayed water on this, and I sprayed some water on this, and I pressed them on there. And there's a little bit of an embossed looking area there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I don't think that was successful enough to say that that's an option. But it's an idea. This one is better. This is the thinner paper, so maybe with thinner paper it's better. But maybe somebody else can come up with an idea of how to make it work for them. I wanted to come back and show you the finished tags after I did the stitching and a few other things, putting a topper on each one of them. I noticed just now that I didn't make them exactly the same size as the original one was. It was about 1/4 of an inch shorter than these. So that makes these look a little bigger than this one did. I just want to mention a couple of things I did. When I stitched this one that has the crumpled paper, I loosened the presser foot control all the way down to 1 so that when I stitched around, it wouldn't be flattening out the crinkles and the wrinkles as I stitched on it. And it was looking not very straight, and I just went around again and made it really not straight just to kind of camouflage that unevenness that I was getting, trying to stitch straight. I tied this lace at the top with just a bit of jute string, and it doesn't have anything on the back decorative other than my gold thread got bunched up right there, so that it has that little bit of gold thread there as an accent by mistake. This is the first one I did, the stenciled one, and on it I put a stenciled rose on the corner there, but that's how it turned out. And I tied this string around the lace there, and it has a couple of pieces sticking up here. I'll probably put some glue on the top of it so it doesn't come loose. Then I did the stamped one, and as you recall, I was having trouble getting the stamp to cover evenly everywhere, but I think it's okay that way. It looks a little plainer than some of the others. I didn't have any gold on it. I did add this pearlized brown button, which was out of my mother-in-law's sewing box, and it has the folded up brown at the bottom with the I just folded the rest of this around, so it has the roses on it as well. This is the one that I did the lace, and I just stapled the topper on it. It's just a piece of lace and some of that, some of this cotton thread, crochet thread. On the back of this one, it just has the lace that comes around, and we talked about this one already. And then this is the original one. So I didn't match the topper on these to this one very much. This one has a button, but it has the seam binding. This one has a bow. These two have the lace, and this one has lace. But anyway, this is what I ended up with. Let me know in the comments which one of these you think was most successful in duplicating this, and then which one you liked best, because that might not be the same thing. So thanks so much for watching today, and I hope that you have some fun making some tags. It's not hard, it's fun to do, and it gives you something to stick in all those pockets that you create in your journals. At least I do. I end up with a bunch of pockets. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.